Welcome to the Out There channel, a special tutorial session with Paul on Emulator MT-32 under Windows 10 that I have managed to figure out. So let's see if everything runs. We're going to be pushing my laptop to the maximum. So doing a few checks now. Looks like it's going alright. Another great song, Sweet Symphony. Oh no, Bitter Symphony. Can't remember who did the group. What group did this? But this is a MIDI file playing MT-32 music. Now, some of the instruments are not quite selected right, but not too bad. I'll just pump up the CPU a bit more. Let's pump up the CPU a bit now. I don't know if it's sounding alright. It's a bit hard for me to check it. Sounds good this end. Play it back. We're going to end up with sounds like it's working, so I'm trying to play it back. Monitoring the sound back at the same time, you get the echo. So anyone out there, this fine Easter weekend 2021. Welcome to the OT channel special music episode. Doing something slightly different this time, and a bit more interesting. Sort of stuff I used to do back in my teenage years. Hardware hacking, software hacking, and modern things, real true hacking, to be able to get music integrated with computers. Back in my time it was 8-bit computers with like 64k of RAM. And when the MT-32, which you're currently listening to, came out, it was like cutting edge technology from Roland. So this, just stop that. So I'll go through what I've done and what the MT-32 is about. And hopefully the audio was going to sound alright, because we're emulating a lot of things here and streaming at the same time on a 6-core laptop. So yeah, music obviously takes up a bit of CPU. Oh, went to my counter here. Must have hit something there. So let's just do the history of the MT-32. Still very popular today, but now it's used on the cloud through Roland, but using their D50 instead. They didn't do the MT-32 because it was like entry level cheap system it for non-professionals, really, because the hardware wasn't up to scratch in it for studio quality, apparently. Although I think mine was version 2 with the headset, but I'm not too sure on that. I'd have to dust it off from the cupboard and check it out. But there's the famous box here, and we got the emulator software that was playing it up here. It was simulating the panel, which you can't quite see there. And it was pretty basic, green LEDs on it. So basically, the Roland MT-32 multi-timbral sound module, MIDI synthesis model, first released in 1987. Mine cost me $1,000 New Zealand, which was pretty cheap, considering most of the decent synthesizer keyboards at the time were about $5,000 to $10,000, and some were even up to $20,000, which was what the professional musicians were using. Now, I'm totally self-taught on music. I didn't learn it in school to later years, and generally the stuff I have created has been by ear. Now, I did have some of my early work up on YouTube, which we can search here. Winter Dawn was probably one of my best ones. I played it straight off into a sequencer and recorded it on old equipment, but I haven't got the MIDI file anymore. So I've only got a DAT recording which got chewed up a wee bit in the system. So I converted it to a music video here, and I'll post a link to it if you've not listened to it before. It's called Winter Dawn, and it was using some of the best instruments on, and you can see there's some of the glitching that was happening because of the tape slipping in playback. So it would be good to get that converted back into a MIDI file somehow. And you have to figure out all the notes. And that's the kind of quality sound you get from this MT-32. Although they reckon it's not studio quality, I think it's pretty amazing. Now, I got up one morning and just composed that straight out my head. And lucky enough, I had it recording at the time. And then I sort of repeated it with different instruments throughout the piece. So I think that, yeah. So I'll just copy a link to it. Hey, Area 51, how's it going? So we're not doing UFOs on material and what I'm up to. And I'll do my shows after then if I get time. Not tomorrow, but the next day. So yeah, Paul's Winter Dawn. I think it's like a sunny winter morning in New Zealand when I wrote it. Dawn music using the MT-32. Now the MT-32 took off with gamers. The Roland brought out a special cut down version of the box which gamers could plug in a MIDI controller and have high quality professional music, because in that time they only had emulated sound chips, Sympathy type sounds. Now they could have like a proper band, playing the music in the background and with the sound effects as well, using a combination of the chips. So it's a wee bit shame that it got chewed up there. Whether I can figure out all the chords and notes on that and have a replay of it. I'm pretty sure that some people probably say it's rubbish or mock me over it, but yeah, you got to remember, I wasn't musically trained. I was all self-taught, on the keyboard and music notation, and I even wrote music software, and sold it overseas. So I don't think I did too bad, but the music teacher didn't like me at university, and I stuffed up one of the papers and didn't quite pass. I was 49% final mark, and he wouldn't upgrade it to 50 just so I could pass. So a lot of stuff in music was subjective, right? So I thought he was being a bit of an asshole, but he should have given me at least a C pass in music, especially after he saw what I had done. But as you know, there's a-holes all in this world, and we bump into them all the time. But yeah, onto the MT-32 readout here. So it was originally marketed to amateur musicians as a budget external synthesizer with no additional list price of $6.95, so that must have been American. So back in those days, it probably would have been about 2,000 New Zealand dollars, I guess, which is quite a lot of money back in that time. You got to remember salaries. I think the average salary back then, when I was working in a multi-million-dollar computer system, a mainframe system, running it, I think the average salary was like 15,000 a year. New Zealand, which would have been like 8,000 US, So you're talking about a big chunk of your salary there, 2,000 off 10,000. It goes into a lot of stuff here. Roland's family of linear arithmetic, LA synthesizers, multi-timbral, which was the main thing here, which means it could play multiple sounds over LAN, but it had a limited memory, and you could really bash a lot of organ music, because I had a friend that used it for playing in church, and when I showed it to him at work, I said, have a listen to this. I said, look, it's very cheap, and you just can hook it up to any MIDI synthesizer, even computer, and just play the music you want. He was pretty amazed with it, especially with the stuff I was working on as well. Back then, MIDI was just really new, and this was the first box that had MIDI pretty much on the market. There wasn't even many MIDI synthesizers to plug into it, but we had a computer with a interface, $100 interface, 8-bit micro, which did have MIDI on it, which we could then straight away use software to record and play back stuff. And then I managed to get hold of this do-it-yourself MIDI keyboard for $100. So it come from overseas, and I assembled it and connected it up. So yeah, it was fun times back in those old days when this is all cutting edge. So yeah, so here it talks about the D50, more sophisticated multi-track studio work. So what else do we need to read out here? Originally, MT-32 comes with a preset library of 128 synth and 30 rhythmic sounds, or rhythm sounds, drums, that means. Created up to 4 partials, which can can be combined in various ways, including ring modulation with 32 partials available overall. Polyphony depends on the tonal complexity of the played simultaneously. Yeah, so it depends on, basically they took a sample and applied parameters to it, modulation, reverb and all that, to make it sound like the real instrument again. So the guts of it is, that's what it looks like inside. And Space has got a limited lifetime, especially with capacitors. As you know, they dry out and eventually the hardware will fail. So even though I've got it installed, which you have a license for. So that's why I can run the emulation software, because I've got one up in the cupboard. Means I've got a license to own the ROM source and use it for my own means. So the old one didn't have the headphone jack, and the new model did there. The problem was with the MT-32, it had a noisy DAC, digital to analog converter, so it had a bit of background hum to it, even though you couldn't hear it there. You could cut out the frequency. That was the annoy the professional. They didn't put all the circuitry in to keep the price down to filter out as much as the noise as possible. So they're talking about the sound quality problems here. But because we're using Windows 10 and we're emulating the hardware, we can actually fix all those problems with software. Because the emulation, basically it's simulating the CPU in it. I'm not sure what CPU it's got in it. Does it tell us? The control CPU is an Intel P1898. Same digital to analog converter DAC, but with 16 bits of input signal. So back in those days we were talking about 8-bit computers, and this is using the newer 16-bit. So let's just have a look on that one there. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. And doesn't look much, does it? There it is there. I'm not sure if we could see that in the box itself. Whereabouts would it be? Should be a square one. There it is there, I think. This one. It's the only one I can see. Oh, there's no one there. But hard to see on that. You'd have to read the fine writing on the back here. So 16 bits, early 16-bit CPU. So they reckon it had some 32-bit operations there. High speed inputs, 20 megahertz. Okay, 12 megahertz. So that's pretty slow considering what we're doing now. We're gigahertz. So, what's the latest CPUs? Let's see. Latest CPU speeds. Intel. Let's see what they've got. That's going to change all. Why is that not working? Still going. Why is that not working? Oh, okay. How's it sounding out there? Is it still playing? Is it still playing? Sounds like it. I've got to do 2 checks myself just in case. So we're talking about gigahertz speeds now. The new chips have a DPI Core i9. Can boost past 5 gigahertz. And here we're talking about a device which was like cutting edge CPU back then. For MIDI, for music creation and MIDI control, running at 12 megahertz. So what's 12 megahertz over 5 gigahertz? It's probably a small percentage. That's probably why we can emulate it perfectly fine. And it talks about here was intended to be a relatively low-cost prosumer. I've never heard of that word before. Not consumer. Prosumer product. Many commas were cut into the design. Many corners were cut into the design of the DAC outputs. For example, the circuitry needed to be properly calibrated. The DACs were omitted, resulting in distortion of the analog signal. I've not really heard any distortion, but maybe there was some on some instruments. Despite having the capabilities of a professional synthesizer modules, the noisy output of the MT-32 caused it to be generally considered unsuitable for professional studio use. Well, it sounded pretty damn good just before, but then one of them I played there was from my original device and one was from the emulation. So if you go down here, it talks more and more about it. I'll post a wiki link to it. But what was more interesting is once it got into the hands of the gamers and coders out there, they were more able to hack it pretty much and keep it alive pretty much. Let's see. So it's come down to this emulation part, and I thought a few days ago, it's worth a try. And it'll save me having to set up my old box because I've got limited space here. So I just need a MIDI keyboard, which is on its way, but I haven't got it at the moment. And to start creating music again, have a bit of fun again. So this is where I found out about some software called MUNT. Most recently, there has been attempts at emulating the LA synthesizer technology in software using images of the original PCM, which is the sounds. PCM, I'm not sure if it tells us here, pulse code modulation, is it? PCM sound. There's a lot of terminology. Music is not as easy as you think. Pulse code modulation, there you go. Pulse code modulation and Dolby Digital technology referred to different types of digital audio recordings. PCM, go away, is the conventional method of converting analog audio into digital audio. The PCM audio recorded on DVD is a 2-channel digital stereo audio track. So the stored the sounds audio. Stored the analog sounds as digital, basically what they're saying here. And then you can play it back into analog and apply parameters to it to tweak the waveforms, you know, release, how it ends at the end, attack, modulation. loudness, so you can actually tweak it to sound like the real instrument, which we'll be going over in a minute. And control ROMs. Now the control ROM is like firmware code that actually applies the parameters to the waveforms, and then the hardware outputs it as sound. So there's two ROMs in the box. The most notable of these emulators is the open source project MUNT. So anything that's open source is generally good. Means that lots of minds can develop it and take it different directions, or work together to make it better, which emulates the MT-32 hardware by the way of virtual device driver for Microsoft Windows, or a virtual MIDI device for OS X, BSD and Linux. I think there might be a Android version now as well. That means you could probably play the MT-32 off an Android tablet. And you could use the virtual screen, the touch screen, for a virtual keyboard, right? Which I haven't looked into. But you probably should be able to do the same on Windows here. My second screen is meant to be a touch screen, but apparently it's not working because you don't have the HDMI plugged in at the same time or something. And you meant to stream everything through the USB. But I didn't want to muck around with that and try and get it working, because I don't really want touchscreen because it's so easy to knock it and cause problems, especially during live shows, right? So went searching for MUNT and started reading up on it, right? MUNT MT-32, and I went from there. So straight away you can see it comes up on an open source platform, and it's just a matter of downloading it and installing it, which I have done. And here it is, MUNT-32 emulator, and you need to get hold of the ROMs, or get a ROM reader and open up your device and read the ROMs yourself. But why do that if you've got a license and someone else has already done it for you? You know what copyright's like out there. Alright. Now, CM32 is the cut down box for gamers. So it's virtually the same as the MT-32, and I've gone for this patched ROM at the moment, which is 1988. So that's the firmware control, and this is the sound ROM. Now, as you see, there's several ways that you can test it out. So whenever you connect a virtual keyboard or software to it, it creates what you call a synthesizer tab up here. I'm not sure how you close them down though. Hasn't got a right click to say get rid of. But also what's good is that you can actually record the MIDI playback from the other software and save it into a MIDI file, which is what I did here for the Axel-F one here. And it's not quite right. It's got the wrong instruments and the wrong volumes, obviously. Or maybe if you get the right instruments, the volumes would be correct, but still I think it's a wee bit too quiet. As you can see, it's showing it's on channel 5 at the moment. MIDI channel 5, MIDI 1, and the rhythm, which was R. It's got channel 10 especially for a drum machine pretty much. And the volumes, as you can see, are very much low. I assume it's playing alright. It sounds alright this end. It sounds pretty good in headset as well because it's in stereo. So you got some instruments on the left and some on the right, so it's better listening to it with the headsets. And also got Enya one here. Wrong instruments, but it still sounds pretty good. Sounds like ice cream outside, doesn't it? The ice cream van. Sail away, is that the one? I think it is. And Noko, what is it? Noko Flow or something, wasn't it? That didn't sound like the right name. What is it called? Let's see if we can look it up. Noko Flow or something like that. Enya. Noko Flow. There's one there. Orinoco Flow. Is that how you say it? Orinoco. Wherever that is. Let's find out, I guess. Location. Oh crap. It's one of the largest rivers in South America. There you go. Have we got a map at all? There we go. That must be it there, is it? Can't see it. No, that's a border. Where's the river? Can't see it. Might be better on satellite. A lot of green there. That looks like a river there. Sidetracked here, but Panama. I can't see it. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah. It looks fairly big. There we can see it. No wonder we couldn't see it, we weren't in far enough. So, it connects to a big lake here. Yeah. So I'll just post a link to MUNT. I'll just stop that for the time being. So what we want to do is we want to play it to actually make our own stuff up. So that's our next phase on this. So MUNT MT-32 Emulator. There's a link to it on the side now. So we need a keyboard, which we don't have, but there are options, as you can see here. Oh, if it will open. Okay, I need to get rid of that. I think it's just running a bit slow, is it? Maybe I have to keep that open. We'll keep that open. Okay, is it playing? Okay, so we've got a virtual keyboard. At the moment I've got it set on Koto, which is sounds just like it. Which is a Japanese instrument, which is what I used on Winter Dawn, and the black keys generally sound pretty good. A bit hard to play it on the keyboard although. QWERTY keyboard that is. So unfortunately we don't have MT-32 instruments here. I've got it set to so this is called Virtual MIDI Keyboard, which is also a sound, I mean a source forge, not sound, open source, and it can actually scale up the keys, as you can see, and you can make it a touchscreen if you want a touchscreen. So I guess they might have an Android version as well. I would have to look. C++. Okay. Qt. Excuse me. Qt. What else we got? MIDI. Piano. Hasn't been updated for a while though. But I might have an old version. But here's a link to it there. Generally that's where you find the web pages. Of course then it opens up the wrong browser by doing what I just did. So I'm just going to close that down. I don't need more CPU. Copy link. So we can then plug it into the one on the proper screen. So now we've got a keyboard that we can use connected to it. If you ain't got a MIDI one through the USB ports. Now looks like their one might be newer, so maybe it might be worth downloading it. And compare it to my one. Is it the same? Crappy, what's going on? Let's see, there's probably a way to get the notes on there. Notes. What's that do? Velocity, value, reset, bender. So how can you play that and push a key at the same time? I don't know. I suppose you have to push it on the keyboard. Sounds torturous. Let's see what else we got. How do we get? So you can choose which channel it's playing on. I suppose it's the same. It's just that they've got a different layout here. Downloads. Oh no, it's quite newer. 64-bit version. I'm not sure which one I've got. Can you remember? Mine's 6, so it's a few versions back. Doesn't say if it's 32 or not, but it works just as good. You don't always need the latest shebang version. I wonder if it tells us which what it's got. Maybe it's got the list of the MT-32 here now, who knows. Which is a problem, isn't it? You think they'd have MT-32 here as instruments. It's probably a way to edit the file to make it more compatible, of course. I'm not sure how you get the notes on. There's probably a toggle for it. So did I copy down the link? No, I didn't. So you need the virtual keyboard. As well. But most people probably have a MIDI keyboard. It's only me that doesn't have it. Well, I had one, but it doesn't work under Windows 10. It was a combination keyboard. But now if you play this, which we can't see now because I've got it too big. So I'll scale it back down a bit. And you should be able to see this should be going to channel 2. Why is it not? Because I got it on the wrong one. There's channel 2. It's really hard to play it properly, as you see. But it does work, and you can do all sorts of set customization here. I'm not sure if it's easy to read there, but I got the output going to the MT-32 emulator. So now we can choose all these different instruments, which are wrong because it's for another keyboard. So we got 106, which is banjo here. But if we go to 62, so what you can do is we got numbers. At least we got numbers. Which one did I choose? Where is it? Instruments. I think it was called instruments. Preferences, maybe. It's normally all on the other screen. Let's see. Keyboard map. Instruments. So I chose a Yamaha XG, which gives numbers instead of general MIDI. So it changes it here. And it's got various banks, the Yamaha XG, and we only got one bank of 128 instruments. And we got channel 10, which is drums. So if I change that to channel 10, which is a dedicated drum machine pretty much. Why'd they choose 10? Because they split the MIDI channels into two synthesizers. The first 9 for synthesizer 1, and the rest of them 11 onwards for synthesizer 2, although you can use it all on one synthesizer. And they stuck it 10 in the middle there for the drums. There you go. So where's the toms? I'm not sure how loud it is. Is it loud enough? I can't hear that one. You can see the R key should be flashing. Why is it not doing it now? Does it go above? Maybe we got the octave too high. We got it on 5, so I think the default's 3. Let's see. Yep. Oh, there we go. So you'd probably create a a beat track, then you overlay it. It's easier using professional software to do that though, and a better keyboard, because so we can go back to channel 2. So each of the channels can have a different instrument. We could do channel 1, I suppose. That would be a different instrument. Like a slap bass. So we could change that to 62. Now, to look up what instruments it is, we've got a link here. MT-32 instrument list. And they call it a patch, and it should be electric guitar 62, is it? So let's see if it is. Keyboard, not that one. Why is it coming up? Where's my keyboard gone? Oh, here we go. So we got it on 62. Oh yeah, electric guitar, wasn't it? Keep hitting the wrong key. So yeah, I've forgotten lots of things. So the best instrument MT-32 had was actually the pipe organ. So where's the pipe organ? The strings are pretty good on it too. Atmosphere was quite a good one. Soundtrack. Pipe organ 1, number 13. So I want to choose 13. Should be the organ. That's the wedding march, by the way. See how easy that is. So that's the first pipe organ. If we go to the next one, 14, slightly different again. And headset, it sounds amazing. I'm not sure how it's coming out on live stream though. Missed a couple of notes there, and then you got the other pipe organ, sounds different again. Get your mouse properly. Wrong one. It's definitely a lot easier on a keyboard, a proper keyboard. Anyway, it's just going by memory. Still haven't forgotten that one. Twinkle Star. Twinkle, let's see, twinkle, twinkle, little star. It's around about the same, isn't it? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Doesn't sound right. What else instruments we got? Twinkle Star, what would that be best with? Fantasy 33. You can see how we can waste a lot of time playing around with music. But it's fun, you know, learning and getting better at it. 33. So, Twinkle Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Does it go up or down? So I'm trying to play it by ear. It's not working right. Let's see, we need a better instrument still. Warm bell, echo bell, Doctor Solo. Don't remember that one. 45. Oh yeah. It then goes down, doesn't it? Goes up high, I think. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. It's got to be there. No, it's got to go down. I'm hopeless. I used to be good at this. So. There it is. Now it should go down lower, shouldn't it? Still not the right instrument though. Let's see, Warm Bell 39. They'll all come back to me. 39. Here we go for time anyway. I just enjoy myself here anyway, even if it's a jumble at the moment. Something's not quite right there. Twinkle, twinkle, star. Something's not right. I think it needs to be up and. That's better, isn't it? So it must be that one. What you are doing, twinkle, little star. There you go, I figured it out. Now, you can all duplicate it. I still don't know if it's correct though. It's going by ear. So that's too high. And that's not a black key. I must have it right. So that's too high, you see. It's got to be the next one. There you go, not so stupid. I figured it out. Okay. You probably could even look up how to play stuff and learn it that way too. I like the touch screens now and the new software, and it can actually light up the keys that you need to press, and you can learn really easy nowadays. I wish I had that sort of technology back in my time. So you could put in close encounter music notes. I don't know if it'll come up or not. And we want the sheet music really. Want the notes played in close encounter. Here we go. So G, A, F, octave lower, F, C. So I remember I did play it once. So F, so that's C, E, C, C sharp, D, E, F. So so it's going F, A. F, A, G, A, F. G. That's it. Let's see, they went lower. F, C, lower octave. We need a proper sound for it though. When a Sympathy sound. So let's have a look. Why is the chart not coming up? Ice Rain, string instruments. What else we got? Quite a lot of selection. Vibraphone 98. How's that going to sound? Sounds like a real one that you used to play in school. What was it? G, A, F, and then it went lower. What did they say? G, A, F, F, C. Oh, now we'll get to that one in a minute. Where is it? Where's my keyboard gone? Which one is it? I thought it was that one. No. Must be this one. No. Huh? No, it's stuck on the end, is it? That's probably why we're getting confused. Keyboards. So I forgot it now. FC was it? Yeah, so I reckon it's an octave lower though. We need to up it here. Start higher up in optics, which makes it high frequency. 5. Yeah, I wonder if I can do it with a slide. Nope. Ah. Let's see if... Don't sound right though. Maybe a different instrument. Okay, let's find a better one. I got strings, that might sound alright. 49. 49. Oh, there's actually C strings here too. So those are in the correct places. So it doesn't matter editing that file, I think, and then we get the proper one here. Ah, wrong one. Don't you hate it when you do it wrong? It's not bad without having a proper keyboard though. Yeah. Don't sound right though. CD, oh, that's right, because I hit the wrong one, that's why. Ah, wrong one again. Wrong. Now you got to play it faster. Yeah, there. Yeah, so what else we got? Synthesizer. Where's the synthesizer? Here we go. Synth brass. No. Electric piano. Electric organ. No thanks. Fantasy. Soundtrack's pretty good. 37. Ooh, probably too high frequency. Still hit a bum note. Okay, where are the synthesizer sounds? String, square wave. Oh, that might be it. 48. It's one of the best movies. Anyway, 48. There we go. Hey! Hey. I thought it did something different then. So that was it. Now probably best to use a proper sequencer. Okay, so there's another piece of software. Get out of that anyway. Stop playing around, but you can see we've got a lot of good selection of instruments. You know, even the classic guitar sounds great. 50 harpsichord sounds amazing. It's really good for classical music. 58. Harpsichord's damn good in this. And that's a harp. Harpsichord. Where's the harpsichord going? Why can't I read it? Harpsichord. 17. That's amazing sound. I was thinking harpsichord, you see. No, it's a different instrument, silly. Okay, harpsichord. And you got the other one. One of them sounds better than the other. That sounds better for close encounters, actually. What was the other one it's going to do? Guitar, that's right. Guitar is pretty amazing too. Although having a better MIDI keyboard that has pressure sensitive, you can do a lot more. Instead of just playing a basic note, you can stretch it and just like a guitar. What's going on here? Nice. Come on. Seems to be going really slow, but not surprised. Alright, so guitar, I forgot number 17, was it? No, it can't be. 60. Is it the same on this one? No. It's not the same instrument. So on to the next phase. So that was the virtual keyboard. Now we've got this one here called MIDI-OX, which allows us to also play it like a keyboard. It's got a keyboard option where you can press keys. And it tells you the information it's sending to what ports. And what data it's sending, and what note. So it's another option. You can go MIDI devices, and this one also gives you a list of all the inputs, external inputs, which we haven't got any. And at the moment we've got it mapping to the MT-32, but we can select all these other ones. Microsoft Wavetable Synth, that's using like the chip, so let's just choose that one. And you see it won't sound as good. It's not bad though. Technology has come a long way. Not too sure how you change instruments. Yeah. So sitar was 106 on the other one. But that is actually a banjo. You can see it's like simulated. Doesn't sound like a real one, you know. I'm not sure if MT-32 has a banjo. I think it might have. Oboe. Okay, didn't see it on the list. Maybe we can search. I don't know if it did have a banjo. Doesn't look like it. No, it doesn't have a banjo. Bit of a shame. So we could have done a comparison. Let's see when it's just so many good instruments here that do sound good. It's 57 contrabass. That's pretty good normally. 57. So I can go back to this other keyboard, which is playing on a different channel. It's at 1 at the moment. So we can have 2 different keyboards, you see. It's like a violin sound with some modulation, is it? Now you can go back to the other one, MIDI, and still have the other instrument, banjo. Right, let's see if we can keep it on the screen. So that's another way of getting 2 keyboards. Doesn't give us a virtual one though, with graphics. And what was the other one? Of course, that puts it on a different track, you see. So there's our first keyboard. We don't have that running anymore. Or that. Or that. Why it keeps those up, I don't know. We have to change that back to. This is some technical stuff there. Instrument note. Where's the channel one? MIDI. There we go. I want to change it back to MT-32. Oh, look, I can play 2 at the same time. But looks like. Well, let's see what that sounds like. Alright. So we've got MT-32 playing. That should be shown up here. Synth number 6. So looks like. Shame we haven't got a decent keyboard though. can play multiple instruments, multiple modules anyway. That's pretty handy. I don't think the other one allows us to do that, but I haven't tried. I don't think it had that option though. Just one at a time, you see. So that one's a wee bit more sophisticated. It needs like, we can play a MIDI file on that one too. I wonder if it would drive both at the same time. I don't see why not. Why does it not come up? Should be asking for the MIDI file name. Okay, where is it? Where's the input? Where's the input gone? Can't be hidden behind, can it? No. Alright. What it does is it puts it up on this thing called a bar. That's why. Which is a separate program that runs. So we can open up, we've got Axel-F there at the moment. So let's see what that sounds like. And can you play along with it as well if you want to. There's MIDI bar. Playing drums in channel 1 at the moment. There's the drums. Sounds pretty okay. Okay. Just like it's only playing one module though, isn't it? So it hasn't changed it, but it's still outputting it. So that must be using a separate system. I don't know if you can customize it. Alright, that only allows this one. Okay, so go back to the Microsoft one. Won't sound as good. Why is it not playing? Can't hear anything. Is it playing? Yep. Alright. Hasn't got the same instruments. It's got a lot of missing. Probably have to play the original one, because this is meant to be for MT-32 setup. This one, and this one should be general MIDI, which was a new specification to make sure it's the same instruments from the same program names, all that sort of stuff. Okay, let's see if that sounds better. Yeah, still can't hear anything. maybe that file's not general MIDI then. Probably for some other keyboard. Yeah, so let's try a different file. I've got a few to choose from here. Bittersweet. Sounded pretty good when we played it on MT. Let's see what it sounds like here. Well, it's not quite the same, is it? Still not bad. It sounds like one of those ones you get for kids, right? To learn music on. So you go to a proper device, MT-32, and it'll probably sound amazing. And it does. See why I fell in love with the MT-32. So we went from those sound chip generated ones. Well, this is actually a wavetable. It's even better than the older ones. So I'm not sure if we can simulate the old sounds, but they were really bad. But yeah, lots of fun, as you can see. So that's it all up and running. And we got multiple programs accessing this thing, which normally sits in your tray, minimized, and then you don't need to worry about what it's doing. But it does have some customization you can do in properties here, which I haven't played around with. Let's see if I can zoom in. Delay, high quality. So the original MT-32 was generation 1. And that would sound hissy, I suppose, or high quality obviously gets around the bugs and fixes it. You can change the reverb. Partials, looks like you can even go up. So I'm not too sure if that makes it better or not. I suppose it would be if you're really hammering it. Can make it 32. Accurate, coarse analog path, digital path. Not sure what that does. And you can change. For MT-32, they normally left channel 1 alone and scaled it from 2 to 10 by default, but most keyboards are set up to 1 to 8, with 10 being drums. So it's got a few options there to make it even better. So yeah, so now I'm not sure it's going to work or not, but we can bring up a proper, well, we can bring in a free MIDI editor program. Oh. And let's see if we can drag it across. Another open source one, or freebie one anyway, freeware. And that allows us to do some editing. I think it even allows us to record. Yep, record as well. So let's see what happens. Input not specified. Okay, so probably doesn't have, can't use the keyboard. So we definitely need another external keyboard really to improve what we're doing here. Okay, so this one allows us to open MIDI again, MIDI files. So this choose Doctor Who. Okay, we got the 2000 version here. That's been modified, 2006. Let's try that one. And it shows us what notes playing for how long. So it's kind of nice, simple. It's not too bad. And you can donate, or you can just go to their website to it and see if I copy it. Okay. Free MIDI editor player. Now we can play it. Oh yeah, it sounds like Doctor Who. Instruments though. Piece of score, isn't it? You should hear it in headsets. The instruments all over the place. It's not bad, but there's no easy way to change the instruments from what I can see here. Bit of a confusing program. Channels, acoustic, grand piano. Yeah, I don't know how to use this, but for a freebie it's not too bad, is it? So let's see what else we got for Doctor Who there. So these can be downloaded, the MIDI files off the internet. Let's go to his previous version, 2005, because they changed it with each of the seasons, didn't they? Bassy. Dramatic. I need something like this for my original file game, which I've lost for Winter Dawn. Sounds pretty good though. I could listen to all this stuff and have a look at everything over and over. There's a lot of tunes here. So let's go back level. Eric Clapton, General MIDI, Dancing Queen, ABBA. Don't know how good that one is, but let's have a look. Oh yeah, there's the piano. And they start at the beginning, don't they? Here we go. You watch that piano keys go down, or go up actually. So let's see if we can make it playback with the other thing. Let's see, Microsoft, and let's see how it sounds. Now, wind back. There we go. Oh, it's got a drum beat there now. It's got the right instruments now, so you can see the quality in the sounds is way different. So that sounds like a toy shop sound, isn't it? MT-32 was so new, it was before General MIDI was invented, so you have to customize it to convert it. I suppose there are some tools out there. Unfortunately these things never come with such options. Sounds pretty good though, even on the basic synthesizer sounds that you get built in Windows. Let's see, MT-32 MIDI to General MIDI converter. There's probably something out there that does it. Conversion utility. Okay. Roland MT-32 was developed and sold well before the time of General MIDI. This is a set of MIDI files to set the Roland MT-32 and MT3 compatible modules to patch sets that more closely emulate the General MIDI. I thought that's what I was running though. I thought I was running the patch version. But I'm not too sure what it meant. I remember in the ROMs it talked about it being patched. But I wasn't sure if that was fixing errors or patching it to be more General MIDI. It wasn't too clear, or fix up some problems, you know, firmware problems. Roland D series. But obviously it's not right because it's got the wrong instruments. Let's see, what's that say there? Download the conversion utility. Roland GS to MT-32. So that's probably what we want to do then. Convert standard general MIDI, is it? Hang on, what was the other one? So you need to go back the other way, really. Yep, need to go the other way. But yes, this is stuff I was mucking around with all week to try and figure it all out, because some people have probably come across the same problem. Let's come up again, general MIDI. Okay, that's what they're saying here. So there's a lot of read and research course. Well, it does play better with GM, so that must be what the patch does. Roland MT utility. I've tried several methods of loading MTGM to my MIDI, but none of the MIDI music seems to sound any different. We're finding that. Okay. They're talking about DOSBox, which is also another good piece of software. Allows you to play old DOS games under Windows XP upwards, pretty much. You can play all those great DOS pinball games. Psycho Pinball, you ever played that one? That's really good. So they're trying to do it on firmware. I want a tool that converts the actual MIDI file, because if all it needs to do is go through and change the instruments, really. Convert a Roland, well, convert MT-32 MIDI file to a general MIDI instruments. And it still comes up with this one. Well, they said it sounds no different, so I'm not going to waste my time. It's there anyway. Suppose we could install it and run it up and have a look. What's it doing? Alright, downloading. You can see how terribly slow it is. Does it still sound alright out there? I don't know until I play it back out there. Looks like it sounds alright. Alright, so what's to save it? Yep, XE. Well, let's see what it does. Probably installs it. I like standalone executables that you don't have to install. So it becomes portable then. You can just have it on a USB stick, plug it into any PC pretty much, Windows, and away you go. You've got the folder open over here. Come on. It is running a wee bit slower, that's for sure. Okay. Let's see what it does. Probably installs, probably. Why can't it run? Huh? Maybe it's old or something. Doesn't say if it's Windows or not, does it? Yeah. Maybe it hadn't finished downloading yet. Let's run it again. Don't know. Probably going to stuff up my live stream. That's why I normally practice and play around with stuff beforehand. I probably could try compatible mode. XP. Don't know. Doesn't make sense. It seems to say it's a Windows file, doesn't it, when you run it? Must be security, I think. Oh. Yeah. Probably infecting the machine. So I don't know. I don't understand why that's not working. I'll get rid of it. But it does say here MT2 files. So I don't know. I bet it's probably a virus. How to get infected, and I'll be wiped out, taken out by the men in black again. So there is some professional software that we can look at now, just to wrap up, and then probably have a dinner, and then come back and do a UFO show. And probably need to reboot the computer and all that, because we've been running lots of stuff here. Yep, so what's that not closing down? Okay, we need to shut that one down. That's sounding pretty good though. Not bad for a freebie. And the professional stuff, which you can download and get 3 months trial for. I've still got an old version here called Ableton, and I'm playing around with that with the sound module. Unfortunately, it's going to open in the wrong screen, but I'll drag it across. And you can see this looks more like a music studio now. Alright. Get rid of that. So I've got some pre-made files here. Yeah, I did new instead of open. Stupid. Now I've got it working with configured it for the right. Well, I was in the process of configuring it for the right instruments. Bass, percussion, but this one allows us to play on the keyboard as well. But we can actually see what it's doing. Channel 10, going to the MT-32 emulator. And if I click the little red thing down here, allows me to change which instrument. So we can change all these instruments down here, which I haven't done yet, to the proper ones, and to get it to sound a wee bit better. So let's see how this one sounds. So we can hit the play button. Sounds a bit better, doesn't it? You can see it's playing the notation down here and the pressure of the keys. Some of the volumes are not right, but I think that's because of the instruments not being right. So they call them MIDI clips. Each of these are a MIDI clip, and you can click on them and it shows what all the notes for that particular instrument. Percussion. There's all that drum sequence there. Although I can't hear it. Yeah, it's in the background, I think. I'm not sure if the drums were playing or not. It's coming up now. Oh, they're definitely playing now. I think they were switched off for some reason. That sounds better. So it was turned off for some reason. I'm still learning the software, self-teaching. But you can turn it off and on here. Suppose we could change the instruments. let's try it. So on 39 there. Don't know if I can change it on the fly. So this type in a different number. What is harpsichord again? 13, was it? Or was that the organ? Let's see. I'll try that. Yep, organ. That's got to be the sine wave, square wave one. Let's try 48. You can see some instruments louder than others. Let's try 48. Well, it's definitely a synthesizer. So we could play around with these ones a wee bit. Turn to channel 3. That's going to be flute, channel 4. I need to find out what the flute number is. We've got two flutes, 73 and 74. So flute. What did I say? 73. That's on 62 there at the moment. Let's see if that sounds better. I wonder if I can play that one individually. Alright, we can play it on the keyboard here, I think. Alright, I've got to select there. I don't think it's changed it. Let's play it again. I can't even hear the flute. Is that the flute? Yep. Looks like it's changed it now. But why is it not working on the keyboard? Why can't I hear it? It's doing something. Maybe it's too low octave or something. That's strange. Why can't I hear it? What have I done wrong? Don't know. So there's only one thing, you can't hear it down at 1. Beats me. So that's one thing I can't figure out, or that would be low compared to the actual playing instrument. See, they're much higher up on the leads. Try that one. So that's not doing it either. Let's go back to the drums. I think it's doing it. Something's gone wrong. Poor. Why is it now 1 star? So this is where you need to know someone that's expert. Why suddenly our volume's gone and how you changed it. But anyway, it's sort of working. Sound a wee bit better. Comes the drums. That's the Eddie Murphy, I think, was it? Bumbling Cops. Back here, yes, I've got Albeton now as a Sync 7. And you'll see I can play another instrument. Pretty powerful. More powerful than just having a single unit. You got multiple MT-32s, right? Multiple sound modules. complex piece of MIDI. So. Good kick drum there. Yeah, so where's that flute sound? Good question. Could be that one there. No, it's not that one. Yeah, it all stopped, so it was here somewhere. We can turn off instruments. We can turn off the drums, you see. So it's a bit more professional editor. But there are some problems with it. It's complex to learn it, I find. You got to understand all these switches here to turn on all this, which I didn't know about. Yeah. Self-teaching, right? And if you want to, you can only export one of the things, one of the lines, export clip. You can't say save the whole MIDI file back to one single multi-track MIDI file. It can only do single. You know, the software costs like $800. You expect it to be able to do the same as free software does. You know, the free one allows you to save it as a multi-track. So that needs to be sorted out. And reason why I can't hear the drums now. I don't know. Got it turned on here. I was playing them before. I don't know why. Can we skip? How do we skip? Good question. How'd you move forward, bar? Looks like it's something to do over here. See, the drums are really loud here when I play it, but they're not working now. I'll just save it anyway. Did I save it before? I'll call it 3 just in case. So that's calling the background task here, but there's another way to do it with this thing here called VTS. What's the VTS stand for again? It's basically like a little program that runs inside other programs. I'll show you in a minute what it does. VST. That's what it stands for. Virtual Studio Technology is a audio plugin software interface that integrates software synthesizers and effects units into a digital audio workstation. And that's what they call a DAW, D-A-W. VST and similar technologies use digital signal processing to simulate traditional record and studio hardware. So there you go. So what it does is load in one I've already set up where I was playing around with the VST instead, and it wasn't working out too well. This one here. Let's see if it plays. I kind of hear it. So what have I done? I can't hear anything on it. Albeton. Going to the wrong channel now. Don't seem to be seeing it. That's because when I select that one, it turns it off. You should be able to record, you see now. But as you can see here, it creates this plugin VST, which is like software that runs. We should be able to hear that. I'm not too sure why. You can see it's playing the slap bass there. And now if I play the keyboard, it's playing the slap bass on synthesizer too. And it's bypassing that one there. It's now using its own Windows type one, because you specify the ROMs, which it's done correctly, and accesses ROMs that way. But why we don't hear anything, I don't know. I did some recording here of me playing it, but I can't hear it. So why is that? It must be going to the wrong output somehow on this. I haven't got those other options on, have I? Let's see if I can figure it out again. There we go, it's that one there. Where's it going to? Master, audio, so it's got me confused. Well, it's not working. Yeah, it was working yesterday. But the thing is, I never see this going up here. Master alien head in the way. So what am I missing, guys? There's volume there. Just played the other one, okay. Preferences. Alright, let's get into the speakers. Could that be it? Should be going to there probably. So, let's see. Aha! Let's go into the speakers when I got turned off on the laptop because we're meant to be going through a mixer. So, what did the other one work? Because it's going through the sound module, it's going through the correct location. Alright. And that makes sense. Alright, so let's see if it plays the keys now. And I can't hear it. Definitely making some sound there. It's meant to be Koto 106. Alright, I haven't changed it. Yeah, okay. Dinner time coming up. I've done this as a separate MIDI clip to set the to Koto. How do I stop it? Up there. Now it should be Koto. There we go. So this is using bypassing this one, but it's using the internal VST thing instead, which has all the channels assigned to different instruments, so you have to change it obviously with individual MIDI clips, I suppose. I never managed to work it out this way. It's a lot more complex than doing the other way. The other way was simple. Just send it down here to where you want it to go. This one's a bit more complex, so you're going to have to change the sounds via MIDI controls. But again, I can't hear me playing. That's got turned off somehow. So let's close that down and reopen it just to see if that fixes it. It's probably something everybody's probably used to. It's probably screaming at me saying, "You do that." I suppose it'll open on the wrong screen again. Or would it remember? Alright, it remembers. Now why won't it minimize that for me? What's going on here? It's kind of strange. Okay, so now let's load that in again. With the VST plugin instead. Is that one? Let's see if it plays now. Aha! Now we need to change it to the correct instrument. Hey, that sounds better. it's quite a lot easier to play the keyboard on here than it is the other ones for some reason. So now you can actually record something. Record session. So there. And now we can stop it. So that's the record button there. I thought that was the record button there. I'm not sure what that button there is. So there's round circles normally record, right? But it's there as the record button. So confusing. And looks like it's given it a default name there. So we should be able to play back what I just was typing. Yeah, it's that simple. Now if we do record again, does it wipe it? No, it overlays it, you see. So that's overlaid extra keys, is it? So let's have a look. Blue ones, is it? Pretty clever. And if I record session again, you can add to it. Looks like it's still blue though. Blue, is it? Yeah. Can't actually hear what I was pressing. It's when you play around like that, you actually come up with a really good melody, and then you do it properly, or you save it and delete out the bum notes, and you've finally got a masterpiece, right? But it looks like, yeah, that's about all I need to show you right now. I kind of liked it. That was fun doing that. I don't know if people are going to watch it all or not, but yeah, it's better to watch it when it's live, right? So you can download all that software free, right? Give it a try. The open source stuff, but still, to buy this software, unless you get it given. My keyboard actually comes with a license, so that does that I just ordered. So you can use that and upgrade it and all that sort of stuff. Saves a bit of money. So I'm going to have to go. Already being hassled, as you can hear. Alright, so say goodnight, and I'll see you. Oh, what happened there? It says welcome to the chat room. Is it still working? I'll just maybe end up with something playing, I guess. Say goodnight and end off with the string. Good night. Unfortunately, I haven't got my MIDIs for my tunes. It was on an old computer. Yes, I could have some fun doing that, to see. So, yeah, we can just start closing down some of that. That thing wants to pop up and then disappear again. So we'll end up with the closing Sympathy. It's a really good song. I haven't heard it for years until I started playing around here. I have to dig up my original CD of it. Here we go. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay guys, good night.